profoundly immoral and wicked. That's what evil is. An approving attitude, goodwill. That's what favor is. Most of the societies create religious thoughts in it. In addition to this, most of the religious thought believe in evil comes from the devil. Other ones either believe in the evilness is one of the reflections of God or there is none. For favor, most of the religions believe that it's come from God. Terminology in English and Turkish, for example, do not prove that, but as I said, it's a belief. Let's take a look on the individual's aspect. You may hear from people around you, the world is collapsed with evilness. Some people think we can find the goodness only with our behavior. We cannot have a grasp of thoughts, so we cannot talk about what's inside the mind. With the help of John B. Watson and even Pavlov, we began to describe behaviors and what's behind of it. They were researching on the basis of stimulus response. For them, we can only monitor behaviors objectively, but it wasn't enough to explain, and also we cannot talk about behaviors without cognitive processes. Of course, some scientists show up and prove that airbag is the one I'm talking about. We can examine behaviors into 3 different sections: mentally, physically, and socially. Mentally is simply consists of thoughts and feelings. Physically is the way you show your thoughts through moving a part or parts of your body. Socially is the relation pattern between you and the other one. Firstly, we form a thought with the help of data comes from sensory organs, mixing them with previous experiences and finalize it. We can use it in 2 ways: now with somebody or for the future. If we use it now, we can do it in 3 ways. For ones, beneficial outcomes. For others, beneficial outcomes. And to neutralize the current conversation, we can choose the first option for our own sake, no matter what the conversation about. Don't neglect yourself and don't feel guilty. Being selfish is not a bad thing always. It can be good if you care of your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. You can be selfish if it's not surpassed another's border. So, can we feel good without being selfish? Yes, it's hard, but not impossible. You can do it with sharing the outcome. In a reasonable society, you don't have to be on the negative side. Once you get the needed education about relationships and using it for both sides, you can minimize negative outcomes. The people around us help us to be developed. We are not predators and will not live alone after adolescence. If we can say that the evil is profoundly immoral, we can say that it's also unprofitable for an individual and nature. We do things to other person on the basis of evil and favor, but how we can do it to nature? Simply changing it for our own instant benefits. For example, we are changing large portions of environment. We cut the trees so we can get fuel, raw material, where and way. This is not something good for habitat. We also damage the living creatures and restrict their living quarters. Also, we release more carbon dioxide that the plants cannot use it all. We need more trees and reduce carbon emission. But the only thing we do is reducing trees and increase emission. Now the governments talk about climate changing and pollution. Now, we cannot fight with them unless we take an action. We will destroy biodiversity and we won't be able to restore at one point. Good and bad things happen between people, but I don't name them as evil or favor. This can happen time to time if we don't have neurological problem and avoid us to touch another's border. We can be evil. We just name them this way. Actually, I think that the most of the problems begin with language, but I will point it in another video. There were people before and will be after us if they will remain livable environment. If we use evil word, we can use it for one who helps destroying environment. The person doing something really bad, not helping the people of future about that. Our children will blame us and we have no right to defend ourselves. Let's take an action before it's too late. And yes, we can live without illness one day.